With the festive period well underway, Christmas markets are taking place across Hampshire. After a year out due to COVID, Performing Arts Winchester are back with a festive treat. And the Basingstoke Bison ended their 7-game losing streak with a 3-2 win over the Raiders. Hello and welcome to Winchester News Online. I'm Cameron Cornell. The Winchester Christmas Market is well underway now, and being ranked one of the best Christmas markets in the UK. We sent Oliver McLennan down to look at the reasons why.
The Christmas market is halfway through, so we asked people about their thoughts on the market.
First time we've been to Winchester Christmas market. The reason why I'd say Winchester Christmas market is probably one of the best is where it's set. The fact that you've got the cathedral around you, the way it's laid out, it's laid out perfectly. The fact that it's kind of like a picturesque kind of surrounding as it is, it kind of adds to the whole Christmas vibe. And yeah, like it's just the people around Winchester, they're very, very nice, very, very humble, and yeah, it kind of gives that whole kind of Christmassy home vibe.
Winchester ranks 6th in a list of the top 25 Christmas markets in a survey done by Big 7 Travel. Winchester, dubbed England's Christmas capital, has a mix of traditional and new style gifts for this year's holidays.
I really like actually going around the market as a customer as well as working here, because I've done several different stalls over the years, and there's always like a really nice atmosphere for a seller, and I think that comes through for the buyers as well. And there's always like a really big variety of products being sold here, as well as lots of different foods in the food market. And yeah, I just think it's a really nice place to come and work.
It's got to be number one reason is the setting, right under the grounds of the cathedral here. It's a beautiful place, it's very well organised, you get some fantastic products that you don't often see on the high street, and everyone's really in the spirit here.
With a week still left to go, we still have a lot to look forward to. Oliver McLennan, Winchester News Online.
Now here's Tom with the local news roundup. With 4 in Southampton and 3 in Basingstoke. This comes with rising cases here in Winchester, as there's been an increase in the last 7 days of 28.9% in the Winchester West area, and an average case rate in the city of over 700 per 100,000 people. A big vaccination milestone has been reached in Winchester, with over 100,000 people receiving the coronavirus jab, which accounts for 87% of the population, of which 80% has been double vaccinated. Storm Barbara is set to hit parts of the UK today, the Met Office issuing a yellow weather warning for Winchester. High winds and rain are expected, possibly causing some travel disruption. Jude's Ice Cream has become the first carbon-negative ice cream company in the UK. The business, located in Twyford, was given the Positive Social and Sustainable Impact Award at the Lloyds Bank British Business Excellence Awards. This year's Christmas market has been replaced with their popular ice rink with a brand new community stage. Isabella Jagger has the latest.
Recognised as one of the best in Europe, Winchester Cathedral's Christmas market has returned to the city once again. But due to social distancing measures, there have been some changes to what's on offer this year.
We had to make the decision quite early on that we didn't have the ice rink. It was a real shame because we know it was very popular with a lot of people, but we didn't know what COVID was going to be like at that time. Because we didn't have the ice rink, we could have a larger food court area with a lot more space for people to move around. If they wanted to sit down as well, there was that option. We were able to make a lot of the walkways around the cathedral a lot bigger, so there is that space for social distancing. We're also encouraging people to wear masks as well.
Located in the cathedral's historical inner close, a brand new community stage can be found at the heart of this year's Christmas market.
We've got jazz choirs, we've got buskers, we've got choirs, lots of different people really highlighting their talent and the talent of Winchester. So it's a place where everyone can come, whether they be local to Winchester or maybe a little bit further afield in Hampshire, and really see what we've got to offer as a city.
I think it's a really nice addition to the Christmas market here in Winchester, and we've currently just been watching a choir sing, which is really nice and has got me in the Christmas spirit.
The stage is a really good addition to the Christmas market this year. There's been lots of good performances and there's definitely a Christmas vibe here.
Local acts will be performing on stage daily up until the 22nd of December. Isabella Jagger, Winchester News Online.
From Winchester over to Whitchurch, the town hosted their own Christmas market last weekend. Nyana McGee has more.
The decorations are up and festive cheer is in the air as our much beloved Christmas markets make their long-awaited return.
Christmas is well and truly underway at the Whitchurch Silk Mill Christmas Market.
The exclusive two-day event was hosted last weekend at Whitchurch's historic silk mill to mark the beginning of the town's festive celebrations.
This is our biggest Christmas fair that we've had here. So we have done events in the past. We have tied in with the town light switch on, which is actually happening this evening as well. So that's it just feels like it's a really Christmassy weekend. And we've done shopping evenings before, but this we thought we wanted to do something a little bit bigger. So having the marquee on the front lawn, having all these lovely gazebos out the back has just made such a difference. It's meant that we've been able to have more stall holders, a real mix of different people here as well.
From Christmas gifts and stocking fillers to warm cups of mulled wine, every penny spent helped support independent businesses. Vendors were getting into the Christmas spirit themselves and embracing the support of the local community.
Yes, very well. We were a bit hesitant this morning after a very rainy start, but the sun came out and the brisk weather helps us because we always do a roaring trade in hot chocolate and cinnamon and gingerbread spice lattes.
Really well so far, yeah. Everyone likes it. We've had quite a few sales already, doing well. And also just telling people about the shop as well in Oakley.
Going really well. I think everyone's now geared up for Christmas now. I think everyone's getting slowly ready for Christmas.
Next year, the mill hope to welcome back the carolers, vendors and volunteers that made this year's Christmas market such a success. Nyana McGee, Winchester News Online.
With the Christmas market proving to be very popular, it has brought a lot of traffic to Winchester's town centre. Kira Donachie has been investigating.
Winchester's town centre has seen a dramatic increase of traffic ever since the Christmas market reopened on the 19th of November. This would come as no surprise, as Winchester's Christmas market was voted one of the best in Hampshire. People are even braving weather conditions like these to get into the Christmas spirit. The parking sites in and around the city centre have been reaching maximum capacity a lot quicker than usual, causing large delays on the one-way system. In order to ease congestion, electronic signs have been placed next to the road to advertise the park and ride service.
So the traffic in Winchester was really bad, and I knew I was going to be at the market for a while, and after reviewing all my options I decided to rent a driveway.
Traffic was terrible, but the parking's quite easy, well signposted up on the board up there.
With Christmas being less than 3 weeks away, the traffic in Winchester is only going to get busier. Kira Donachie, Winchester News Online.
Christmas is on its way, but people are concerned how COVID could affect it. The university has released their latest COVID update. Anya Leleva has more.
University is keeping up to date with new COVID variant restriction. As for now, we know that from December 6th, face coverings are required to be worn indoors on campus, unless you're exempt. This includes teaching rooms, libraries, support sessions, communal areas, as well as university vehicles. However, you do not need to wear a mask if you are seated to drink or eat, taking part in performance activity or physical activity, or undertaking high-risk activities. If you are living with someone that is awaiting their PCR test results or has been tested positive but does not have Omicron variant, you do not have to self-isolate as long as you are fully vaccinated. University is expecting students and staff taking 2 lateral flow tests every week and reporting it to the government website. Testing kits are available in reception, West Downs Library and Marshall Rose Library. Teaching is scheduled due to continue as normal up to the end of semester.
So with COVID precautions set in place at the uni, how are the government protecting the public from Omicron? Jen Howard is here to explain.
Omicron cases have been confirmed in Hampshire. The new variant has now infected people across the UK, and with fears it may be more infectious than others, the government have taken action to make sure we are staying safe. Masks are now compulsory on public transport and in shops across England. These rules were already in place in Wales, Northern Ireland and Scotland. And does this apply to everyone? Absolutely. The only people exempt from wearing masks in indoor settings are under 12s and those who can't wear face coverings for medical reasons. This also applies to indoor settings such as taxis, beauty salons and driving lessons. It doesn't, however, apply in gyms, restaurants or pubs. Health Minister Edward Argar told the BBC that the rules aren't being extended to hospitality for practical reasons. He said where people are eating or drinking, they may go to a bar to order their drink, but will often then sip their drink on the way back to their table. So let's take a look on what may happen if the rules are not followed. Police and Transport for London officers can fine people up to £200 for not wearing a mask on public transport or in a transport hub, although this fine does halve if it is paid within a fortnight. The penalty then doubles for each subsequent offence with no further discount for fast payments. These fines can go up to a maximum of £6,400. The National Police Chiefs Council said the police will be enforcing the regulations where it is necessary, with from June 2020 to October 2021, 1,733 passengers having been prosecuted by Transport for London for failing to wear a face covering. So, with the rise of a new variant in Hampshire and harsh rules with subsequent fines in place, be sure to wear a face covering in indoor settings and on public transport, and stay safe from COVID in the build-up to Christmas.
Thanks, Jen. For those who don't have a car, public transport can be the only option. Harry Turberfield has the latest on a new bus travel scheme in Winchester.
Over the past few weeks, the city of Winchester has been experimenting with public transport prototypes in a trial aimed to reduce CO2 emissions caused by car travel in the city. This has been achieved by the utilisation of the city's buses, with particular routes around Winchester offering free transport. Executive lead member for the Economy, Transport and Environment Councillor Rob Humby told WINOL News the aim of the trial was to test whether free bus travel is a viable option going forward for the city, and also to make an effort to reduce the city's carbon footprint whilst encouraging the use of the excellent new facilities at Bar End. We will discuss whether or not the trial was successful in due course. The trial for free bus travel between the Broadway and Barfield Close was put in place to encourage not only the use of public transport to reduce CO2 emissions, but also the use of this new leisure centre here at Bar End. The council are currently discussing the scheme following a 2-week trial period, and if deemed successful, will allow for people across the city to travel here free of charge. The trial started on the 15th of November and ended on the 2nd of December, providing those travelling between the Broadway and Barfield Close with free bus travel simply by telling the driver where they're going. Should the scheme continue to go ahead, it would provide citizens of Winchester with free travel to and from the new leisure centre, as well as the surrounding areas. Harry Turberfield, Winchester News Online.
I've got Harry here to discuss the scheme further. So what can you tell me about the scheme?
So it was originally set up by the Winchester City Council in order to decrease the carbon footprint by the city. It was also used, of course, to encourage use of the new facilities at Bar End. It originally went into a 2-week trial period on the 15th of November. And essentially what's happened is they've had the 2-week trial period, and now they're discussing whether or not it's a successful scheme. By the sounds of it, it is looking to be successful, and hopefully they've got an outcome for us quite soon.
So is there a sort of timescale when they might implement the scheme?
So they're looking to have decided whether or not they're going to be going ahead with the scheme by mid-December, so we don't have an exact date, but we do have a rough idea of when they'll be doing it. Obviously it's only ended recently, so it's going to take them a while to look at the economics behind it and the funds, etc. But hopefully for everyone involved at Winchester, it will go ahead.
And is it just going to be in Bar End, or is there going to be a scheme in other areas across Winchester as well?
So at the moment it is just between the Broadway and Bar End. It was mainly to encourage the use of the leisure centre, which has obviously recently been built at Bar End, as well as it was also designed to reduce the city's carbon footprint. But as far as I'm aware, it is only between the Broadway and Bar End, and I think they're also looking at perhaps implementing some of the areas around it as part of the scheme, but they would have to go through another trial period to do that. Whether they did that alongside the scheme being permanent itself, or whether they did it as a separate trial period, I'm not too sure yet, but hopefully they've got an outcome for us soon.
Great, thanks for that. For most people, this time of year is for celebration, but for some, going home for Christmas can lead to unnecessary stress. Izzy Higgs investigates.
With Christmas just around the corner, many students are excited to be going back for some home comforts. Other students, however, may be dreading it.
There's a variety of reasons why students may be apprehensive about going home for Christmas. Perhaps they have a vulnerable relative that they live with at home, or perhaps they just don't feel safe there.
For those who identify as LGBTQ+, family events can be a difficult affair.
Whether that's with pronouns at home or if they have a partner that perhaps their parents don't fully accept. I think there's lots of different ways that people can struggle, and I think they will over the Christmas period.
Changed as I've got older. When I passed the age of 18, my mother kind of decided that it was up to me and how I look, and she had really no say in it. Whereas when I was younger, it was really quite difficult to feel myself once I was at home.
According to a YouGov report, 2/3 of LGBTQ+ university students say that their universities have equality policies that protect them while they're on campus. But what happens when they go home for the holidays?
It is really difficult to try to support people in that situation, but at the same time, there's a lot that needs to be done in that kind of family dynamic as well to help support. So it's quite a tricky situation. Spectrum Society do a lot to help support individuals when they go home over the holidays.
Here are some things that LGBTQ+ charities recommend you do this Christmas season. Try to have a network of people you know will support you that you can contact if things don't go smoothly, or even just for a friendly voice on the end of a phone. Make a decision about who you will be out to and make this very clear to those who know. But most of all, make sure that your environment is a safe one to come out to. As a family member, you can ask questions but also do your own research if that will help you. This has been Izzy Higgs with Winchester News Online.
Down in Portsmouth, some new technology has made its way onto the high street. Emma Hatton reports.
A new zebra crossing was unveiled in Portsmouth last week, the first in the country containing an innovative new lighting system. The new crossing on the junction of Palmerston Road and Clarendon Street contains LED panels placed into the road surface, illuminating pedestrians and hopefully improving safety on the roads. The updated zebra crossing was a collaboration between the Portsmouth Department of Transportation and Colas Ltd, a highway service provider.
We chose that particular location because it's a very busy crossing, not just in the daytime but also at night, because Palmerston Road South has got quite a big nighttime economy. Well, obviously we'll be looking at accident data, near misses, because we have technology, for doing that, and we'll people report things as well. The near misses come from that. So yes, it will be monitored to see that we're hoping that the casualty rate will drop.
Many are hoping that Colas technology can be spread, especially to particularly busy areas such as Fratton and Cosham. It was only last month that an 85-year-old woman lost her life while on a zebra crossing in the High Street.
The crossing situation with the flashing be more safer for around Portsmouth to have it for all different types of crossings, because the lady who crossed the road in Cosham, where the corner I live, the driver didn't see her. Well, it'd be more safer for everyone to have a crossing there with a flashing.
The installation will continue to be monitored, and hopefully if it shows positive results, more streets across the UK will be lit bright by LED lights. Emma Hatton, Winchester News Online.
Continuing on the topic of Portsmouth, Emma joins us in the studio to discuss the new clean air zone brought in last week.
The government-mandated Clean Air Zone launched in Portsmouth last week, falling into a Class B category. This means that non-compliant vehicles will be issued a daily charge to drive within the zone. This includes buses, coaches, taxis, private hire vehicles and heavy good vehicles. The charges given range from £10 per day for taxis to £50 per day for goods vehicles. There are some exemptions, however. Some of these exemptions include a vehicle that has ultra-low emissions, a disabled passenger's tax class vehicle, a disabled tax vehicle, a military vehicle, or even an historic vehicle. Although these precautions are put in place to help the environment, many don't have hope. According to cast.ac.uk polls, only 3 out of 10 Brits think that the government has a clear plan to help tackle climate change.
Thanks, Emma. Now we have some sport. Basingstoke Town hosted Marlon in a promotion clash. Harry Jones watched this one.
Basingstoke Town returned to home action on Saturday afternoon as they hosted the informed Marlow FC at the Winklebury Sports Complex. The visitors took control of proceedings early on, and they went close with free kicks from right-backs Ewi and Junaid Bell. Before Jordan Brown was denied from 12 yards by Basingstoke keeper Paul Strudley. Marlow's spell of dominance would continue though, and some fancy footwork from top scorer Unwachuku forced a mistake from Dan Williamson, who stuck the ball into his own net to give the visitors a 1-0 lead in the 31st minute. Tension started to rise between the two sides as the first half drew near its close, and this high tackle from Junaid Bell certainly didn't help matters, with the challenge earning him a yellow card. Things then went from bad to worse for Dan Brownlee's side as the second period got underway, as the dangerous Bradley Wilson got a straight red card for this flying kick on Marlow goalkeeper Simon Grant. However, Jordan Brown avoided an early bath despite this off-the-ball incident, as things threatened to get ugly. Performance-wise though, it was only ever one side who ever threatened to add to the score sheet, as Amandi Unwachuku went close to adding to his 8 league goals for the season once again, before Bell's last-minute long-range effort forced a smart stop from Strudley. Full time at the Winklebury, Basingstoke Town 0, Marlow FC 1.
I think we were a bit lacklustre all around the park in truth, but a lot of that is credit to Marlow, like they stopped teams playing, you know, so I think we had some good performances out there, but no one, I don't think, is coming away with the star man, put it that way. The game has been largely affected by the referee, which was disappointing, and I'm not one for blaming refs. It infuriates me when I hear managers come on TV after games and just blame referees, but unfortunately he's affected a big chunk of today. We had a chance, we didn't take it, so you could argue that. I think on a player level, we need to be better in possession and a little bit more ruthless in both boxes. I think that's the undoing of us today.
Well, Basingstoke Town have fallen short this afternoon after a chaotic 90 minutes of football here at the Winklebury Sports Complex. And with Uxbridge, Chertsey Town and today's visitors Marlow all breathing down their necks in the league, it promises to be a make-or-break festive period for Dan Brownlee's side. Harry Jones, Winchester News Online.
So I'm joined by Harry Jones. Harry, what were your thoughts on last weekend's game?
Well, really disappointing result again for Basingstoke at home. It seems like every time I go, they fail to win. Marlow are a good side that you can't really take anything away from that. I've watched them twice in the last week. I watched them beat Guernsey 6-0 in midweek. So there's no real shame in losing to them. They got some fantastic players, some real stands out. They got Wachuka up front, scored 7 in the league this season as well. They got a fantastic centre-back partnership. Louis Rogers in midfield. They're a really good team all over, really well coached too. But yeah, I think Dan Brownlee will be really disappointed. Again, there's three draws or defeats at home in their last 4 games. So really disappointing run of games at the Winklebury Sports Complex, especially after such a strong start to the season. So they have to go and recover yet again. But yeah, really disappointing, especially against a promotion rival.
Yeah. So what were your thoughts on the controversial incidents in the game as well? There are plenty of them.
Yeah, well, there are 3 main incidences of controversy. So you had Junaid Bell's massive tackle in the first half. High tackle, bit of follow through. He did win the ball though, so I think yellow card probably is fair. They're trying to be a bit more strict on these sort of tackles with a bit of follow through that are a bit high. But I think a yellow card probably was fair because he did go and win the ball first, and the number 8 did slightly shirt the tackle. So I think that one was fair. Then there was the red card incident. I don't think Brad Wilson could really have any complaints about that one. He did go in high on the goalkeeper Simon Grant, who he claims nearly had his ribs broken by the tackle, which I think is probably a bit of an exaggeration. I don't think it was that bad, but I think it probably was a red card tackle. And then you had another one. The one that particularly interested me was Jordan Brown. He pretty much wrestled his man to the floor off the ball. He claims that there was a body check involved, but I think it was pretty much violent conduct off the ball. I tweeted out the incident. I got some good footage of it, and that's got nearly 10,000 views on Twitter, and it's got a lot of discussion. The Marlow manager's joined in. Brad Wilson's chirped in. He says that if his is a red, then that one should be a red too. So I think that's quite frustrating for Basingstoke, especially since they had to deal with 10 men, and Marlow could have been the same for the last sort of 35-40 minutes. So yeah, there's a lot of discussion, a lot of arguments on Twitter between the Basingstoke players and Marlow players and manager. But I think overall the decisions they give was probably fair. I think Jordan Brown's incident off the ball was probably the only one where I'd maybe say that was a red. But overall, I think the ref just about made the right decision, although Dan Brownlee did not agree in his post-match interview.
Yeah. Thanks, Harry.
With how heavily the COVID-19 pandemic hit grassroots football, people are concerned there could be more damage with the new Omicron variant. Max Rumbold has more.
With the recent rise of the Omicron variant across the UK, pressure builds on non-league football sides as fears grow over whether owners will be able to keep their club running. As fears get bigger around the virus, it starts to raise alarms surrounding the grassroots of football and whether it will survive without the funds they get each match day from fans. Without fans at the matches, it becomes difficult for owners to pay any expenses around the club, forcing some teams into administration, where the FA steps in to help, or the worst case is they have to file for bankruptcy. Winchester FC owner Ken Reisbach told me that we are grateful for the support of the council and the Football League with various grants. As a club, we plan for the worst and hope for the best. This is the prudent approach to manage the club, with the worst outcome being games played behind closed doors, or even ending the league early. The council becomes available to supply grants to those who need it in order to offer as much support as they can, but for some there is still a struggle after a promise of a mid-season support system set up by the National League fell through, leaving some clubs with nothing left. For now though, football will continue to go ahead and with no restrictions and continue as normal, with both fans and owners hoping it goes this way.
Thanks Max. Now over to the ice hockey. Ed Brown watched this one.
The Basingstoke Bison welcomed back the Raiders to the Basingstoke Arena this Saturday, and the Bison got to work early after a rough season so far. Ashley Tate snuck down a snapshot to steal the lead in a power play. Moments later, Aidan Doughty snatched the second for the Bison, scrambling to get the puck into Ethan James's net. In the second period, the Raiders fought back. Sylvester slapping the puck away to mount a comeback. Nearing the end of the second, the swashbuckling Raiders levelled the tie. Hoonsome completing a well-worked play. But the Bison came to play. Liam Morris finessed his way into the attacking third and stroked home the winning goal, snapping a 7-game losing streak dating back to their Derby Day win against the Bees.
Yeah, I think the boys in general bounced back. Obviously, we've had a bit of a tough time with it recently, but all the guys are still believing in the system that Ash is trying to put through to us, and we all bought in tonight, and we got the win that we think we deserved over the last few weeks as well. Yeah, it's always good to beat London. They're a good team. They obviously got guys who used to play here as well, so it's always good to get one over on them. But we're under no illusion they're a good team. We've got to go there tomorrow and play the same way and hopefully get it done again.
The Bison host the Steel Dogs this Saturday. I'm Ed Brown, Winchester News Online.
Now over to athletics, where Winchester Athletics Club have been nominated for an award. Taylor Sinclair has more.
With Wadac's success over the last year, they have been nominated for the South East England Volunteering Awards, where they'll be looking to get some accolades for their hard-working coaches and staffs and volunteers. With their success as of recent, being the 4th largest athletics club in England, Chairman Paul Cox told me that it's all the volunteers and how we work together to improve levels of participation to credit their success, backed by the 30% increase in membership over the last 5 years, with currently around 860 members despite the troubles of lockdown. However, lockdown was handled at the club with the athletes training outside and with help from coaches at home to keep training. But what makes the club successful to be nominated for the awards?
So the reason Wadac's so successful is the number of people that we've got here to make it what it is. So we are the 4th largest club in England in terms of our membership numbers, and with that number of members we obviously need a large amount of volunteers in order to make the club successful. So from the coaches that obviously train the athletes on club nights, to all the team managers, to the officials without which we wouldn't have any competitions, all the committee members and everybody within Wadac, all our parent helpers and volunteers ensure that the club can do what it's doing right now.
With all the help from volunteers at the club, Wadac are looking to progress forward to win many more awards in the future. aiming to improve year on year in both achievements of athletes as well as the membership numbers to help with their ongoing success as the 4th largest athletics club in the country. Taylor Sinclair, Winchester News Online.
The University of Winchester's first team looked to bounce back after their defeat in the Men's Western Conference Cup last time out, as they played a Bournemouth side that only won one game all season. Tyler Reynolds reports.
The University of Winchester's first team looked to carry on their strong form in the league as they played away to a Bournemouth side that hadn't won a league game in just under a month and sat on 3 points after 5 league games. But it was the hosts who had the first chance of the game, forcing Aaron Whitmarsh into a smart save from a corner kick. Throughout the first half, both teams struggled to create any clear-cut chances, but that all changed after some individual brilliance from Matt Davis, whose pass was converted by Tom Bevan, scoring his second goal of the season. Early into the second half, Winchester had a great opportunity to double their lead as Ike Hill's shot was parried away from goal, but then the rebound blazed over the bar. But then it was the hosts' turn to come close, as Bournemouth's number 5's first-time shot clipped off the edge of the post. And the second goal in the match did eventually come, but it was for the away side, as Hill's pass out wide found Winchester's winger, whose audacious chip sailed into the top corner, sealing the victory for Winchester.
Well, I think I played alright, but at the end of the day it's team performance. We scored 2 goals and I thought we led from the back today, particularly his defence. I thought played well, kept them quiet. I'm impressed with a lot of the boys. There were some really good shifts in there today, and yeah, personally having a good performance helps as well.
2 centre-backs had a good game. We were up against it for quite a lot of the second half. Their quality. Aaron was quality in goal again. So yeah, just the back 4 and the goalkeeper keeping us in it.
I thought my fellow centre midfield partner Matt Davis played really well. All 4 of the back played well, and also it's nice for Tom to come in and get a goal on his return. So really happy. Like I said, not the prettiest football, but again, wins win and 3 points and push on in the league.
Up next, Winchester have the Bath third team at home, a team they beat 7-2 earlier on in the season. A win for Winchester could see them go into the Christmas break at the top of the league, should the Solent first team lose to the Bath Fourths. Tyler Reynolds, Winchester News Online.
So the University of Winchester's first team has won their last 4 games and sits second in the table. I have Tyler with me now to discuss some of their recent form. So how are they doing?
So yeah, they're doing really well, exceeding their own expectations, you could say. They've only conceded 1 goal in their last 3 games, and as you said, they're unbeaten in their last 4. And their captain even told me at the start of the season that he would expect them and wants them to finish in the top 3 this season, and currently sitting second going into the Christmas break is a really good achievement for them.
So going into the Christmas break, how are they looking going into their next few games?
Yeah, really solid. So there's only 1 game left before the Christmas break. As I said, they're having a really good start to the season. All of their players are 100% committed, and team morale is also really important, especially in university football. Everyone's very committed. They're playing some great stuff going forward, and it's been really good so far.
So going into the new year, what do they need to do to ensure they finish in the top 3 come the end of the season?
Honestly, just more of the same, really. They try to play out of the back, which is something that I've been told that they work on quite a lot. It sometimes has let them down, sometimes through the season, as they try and work out when to play and when not to play, when to clear the ball and when not to clear the ball. But on their day, they can honestly play anyone off the park in the league. They're only second to a team that have won all of their games so far. So honestly, if they keep up their game, they could really challenge for the league this year.
Thanks for that, Tyler. So that's all we have for sport for today. So now we have Grace with the entertainment.
Hi, I'm Grace with The Ends. First, Performing Arts Winchester are back with their annual Christmas showcase after a year out due to COVID. Ben Morris has more.
A society at the University of Winchester is about to put on a very special festive performance. Performing Arts Winchester are back with their annual Christmas showcase after missing a year due to COVID. The showcase will include all elements of the performing arts family, including drama, dancing and singing. But what does it really mean to the society after being gone for a year?
It's so important to us that it is finally back after having COVID stop us from doing it last year. We use a lot of the money that we make for the Christmas showcase to then fund our other shows throughout the year and to fund our socials and any other sub-society things that we need to do.
The stint of performances will start this Saturday on campus in the performance gym. And it is in this very foyer where audience members will line up to watch a performance that proves that even after COVID, the show really must go on. Ben Morris, Winchester News Online.
The Railway Inn hosted tribute bands Roller Coaster and Zed Zeppelin on Friday night. Charlie Swadling has more.
The Railway Inn hosted a night for rock fans on Friday night, with Dave Grohl tribute act Roller Coaster performing, and fans were treated to Dave Grohl related songs such as well-known tunes from Foo Fighters, Nirvana, Queens of the Stone Age and even Tenacious D. Led Zeppelin tribute band Zed Zeppelin opened for Roller Coaster, and they encapsulated the sound of the 70s band and proved to be a hit among the fans. The gig was postponed as it was originally supposed to happen on the 19th of November, however there was a power cut on the original date, meaning it had to be pushed back.
I think that's what made a lot of people tonight really appreciate tonight, was the fact that it had almost been, it almost didn't happen in that sense. The fuse burnt out, and had it have gone worse, maybe we wouldn't be sat in this room. Maybe this room would actually be below us, and it'd have all burnt to ground. Maybe that was the worst case scenario, but no.
And it felt like everyone was happy to be out and seeing fans again, and yeah, so good to be back on stage, and so glad it went without a hitch.
Yes, exactly.
Nothing blew up.
The relief sensation. So we haven't been playing for a while because of COVID and different restriction, and being on stage tonight, it was like, yes.
Roller Coaster will be making a return to the Railway Inn in February. Charlie Swadling, Winchester News Online.
That's all the entertainment for today. Back to you, Cameron.
That's all we have for today. Thanks for watching. See you next time.